Howdy YouTube. Well, as mentioned in the previous video, in this video I'm just going to go through the modifications that I've done on the bike so far. Just give you an overview of those. So when I bought the bike, I liked it straight out of the box, but there's just one or two things that I wanted to change. So without further ado, we'll start and we'll basically run from the front of the bike and work our way around, and I'll show you each bit that I've done. So the first thing that I've done is I've got rid of the orange reflectors on the forks because they were bright orange, and it really drew your eye to them, and I didn't quite like that. And in tandem with that as well is the indicators were also bright orange. These are the bullet style indicators, and I do like the actual indicators. I think they suit cruisers. They look good on Harleys and other types of cruisers, but basically the lenses were bright orange, and I didn't particularly like that. It really drew your eye to it, and I thought it kind of ruined the look of the bike. So basically all I've done is I bought some lens tint, just a spray, and you just spray the lenses and it gives it a dark smoke. When you put the indicators on, they're still really bright. You can still see them clearly, but I've done that, and then I've also gone for some covers as well. These are for the Meteor 350, but they use the same indicators, so they fit perfectly, and I just think now that that blends in quite nicely with the bike there. I've got them on the front, I've also done them on the back as well, which I'll show you in a bit. Second thing, I wanted a screen because when I test rode the bike, I had two test rides. I did the Celestial, which is the touring version with the touring seat, the big screen. The big screen took all the wind off your chest, but you had a massive amount of buffeting in the helmet area, especially the visor. So I needed to find a solution to combat that, and without a screen you get a lot of wind on your chest, which pushes you back, which can be quite uncomfortable for sustained periods of time. So I've gone for a Dart Marlin, which is their biggest screen. You've got a choice of 3 with the darts. You've got the Piranha, which is kind of like a cowl, very, very short. You've got the Classic, which is similar to this one. It's straight, but it's a little bit shorter. And then you've got this, which is the Marlin, which is a little bit taller, but it's got a nice curve in the screen, so it's actually quite nice. I bought this one in dark smoke. I would have preferred it if it was gloss black, but unfortunately with the Marlin they don't do it in a gloss black for the Super Meteor, and it's got that lovely curve in the screen, so when we look at the bike, the lines of the bike, the way the tank flows into the seat and then onto the fender, that curve in the screen really accentuates it. And if we look here, you can see it's got an adjustable arm, so you can adjust it to whatever angle you want. So I've got it at this angle, and I find that this is the best angle for me. It takes all the wind off your chest, and you just get a slight little bit of wind resistance on the top of your helmet, but it's negligible. So yeah, this was a really good solution, so I'm quite glad I've done that. And I think it looks really good on the bike as well. Nice and dark, ties in with the sort of dark colour of the bike. Next thing I've done is I've gone for some bar and mirrors. These are from Tech Bike Parts, really good quality mirrors. They're not too expensive either, unlike some mirrors. I've taken off the stock mirrors and I've put some silver blanking caps on there because the bike's got a bit of a sort of dark green, black and silver theme going, so I thought they would look really, really nice. I'd normally go for black ones, but I thought I'd give it a bit of bling and go for some silver ones. So the mirrors are really good visibility, and they look good on the bike. I've also gone for some Motone Gemini bar and mirror caps as well, and I've coupled them with the Royal Enfield bar and mirror adapters, because the ones from Tech, they've got a curved end, and also obviously these caps have got a straight edge, so I needed something to sort of mount onto the end of that without them slipping. So yeah, improvise, adapt and overcome. Also, the caps are hollow, whereas the Enfield caps they're a solid bit of aluminium. So easy solution is you just stick 4 or 5 washers at the end of the cap. It just makes it flush with the bolt, and then yeah, you just screw those in and they're nice and solid. So there we go. And not only that, the black and chrome again looks really nice with the bike there. So yeah, quite happy with that. I've put on my Beeline adapter clamp there for my Beeline sat-nav. I won't use the Tripper. I'll just use that as a clock. I much prefer using my Beeline. I think it's a little bit better than the Tripper, but that's for my touring needs. So that's that. This side of the bike, all I've done is I've just dressed up some of these bolts just with some black covers, just to give them a bit of protection from the elements, but also I just think it blends in quite nicely. So there's some there, there's some in there, so any bolts that I could find that I could fit covers to, I've done that. The next thing I've done is I've changed out the shifter arm and the gear lever to some Tech Bike Parts ones. I think they look nicer. They're billet aluminium, and I've also coupled that with some Motone pegs as well, which have got a little bit of silver on the end, just makes the bike pop a little bit. So I've done that on this side, and then you've got your brake on that side. I've gone for extended pegs because they look a bit better. So yeah, so that looks really nice. Very easy to fit. There's a video that Tech Bike Parts do show you how to fit them. I did it. It took me about 20 minutes. It's just a couple of undoing some bolts, swapping them over, redoing the bolts. Quite easy. Also, Motone now do some parts for all Enfield bikes. They're normally just like for Triumphs, but I've got this reservoir cover on there, and again I've gone for a black and silver one because I think it matches the bar end caps. So there we go, just a nice little bit of bling because it's a classic bike. I just think some small bespoke parts like this just look really nice. Coming around, I've added some Motone pannier rails, and on this side I've got my tool roll on this side. I've also added the solo finishing rack. I don't take a pillion, so and I like the look of the rack, so I've gone for the Royal Enfield one because I think it looks the best out of all the ones I've seen, and I've had it in black as well rather than silver because I think the silver one is a bit too much. Blends in nicely, ties in really good, especially those silver bolts. Looks really nice. In addition to that, I've also added some Gemini caps to the holes that are in the subframe here. I didn't like the fact that there was holes in there, and I just wanted to put something on there just to dress them up a bit, and again ties in with the front of the bike, so I've added those. I've also removed the pillion foot pegs and just added some Motone blanking caps here and there. It's black and silver again, just keeping the theme of the bike. And then just here as well, I've swapped out my shocks. So when I test rode the bike, I did, like a lot of people, found the rear shocks a little bit firm, so I made the decision when I purchased the bike that I was going to swap the shocks out straight away. So I bought the shocks first and then purchased the bike and got the dealer to throw them on, as well as a pannier rail. These shocks are absolutely excellent. They're firm, you still get a nice firm ride, but they've got a lot of give in the shock, so when you go over rough road surfaces you don't get bucketed out your seat, you don't get that jarring sort of pain up your spine. It just nicely sort of bounces along and then it sort of firms up again, so it makes the ride really nice and stable, but sporty if you ride like that basically. So so shocks done. Back of the bike then, again those indicators, smoke them out, put the covers on. I've also gone for a black and silver plate because the bike has got a lot of black and silver. Slightly illegal, I know, in the UK, but we'll see if I get stopped or not. But I think that looks a lot better. Here, this is my Burley brand Voyager luggage, which looks really good on cruisers, and I knew with the colour of this bike that this luggage would suit the bike, so yeah, I've gone for that. I do have two of these, but just to give it a bit of contrast, I've gone for a tool roll one side, but if I go on a tour I can always throw the other one on the other side. So that's that. And I've also added just here some mid foot pegs from Tech Bike Parts, just if I'm on a tour and I want to change my foot position, I've got that option. So yeah, really good. And then the last thing I've done is, the only thing I really didn't like about the bike was this silver massive RE logo, which I thought looked a little bit tacky. So I've basically wanted a solution for that. Now I was going to paint it black, but I decided to try and see if I could make this solution work, which is a Motone clutch cover, but it obviously has holes in it for bolts because it bolts into a Triumph bike, and I obviously couldn't bolt it into this. So I did a lot of research on the internet and basically found out about something called VHB, high resistant, heat proof, durable solid adhesive tape. So I bought some, I packed the back of this cover with the tape, and I stuck it on, and since then I've been riding the bike for, you know, around here local area, been on the bike for like an hour plus, and this is on solid, it hasn't moved. So I'm hoping that the heat proof qualities are working. Time will tell if it comes off. If it falls off, it falls off, but at the moment it seems to be holding up really well, and I've been out on the bike quite a few times. But that little cover there I think looks much better than the logo underneath it, and it ties in with the fins here as well. So give you a little view there. So that's basically what I've done so far. I do plan on swapping out this white cap because, again, I think it looks a little bit cheap. I'll probably get a black one, so I'm looking for a solution for that. And basically that is all of the modifications that I've done so far. Now I do have a sissy bar which is in the house, which I will put on the bike at some time, probably when I go for a tour, because I've got some sissy bar bags and luggage and that sort of thing. So I'll probably stick that on at some point. I'll do a video when I do that. And then the last thing is I have ordered some aftermarket pipes, because although I love the look of these pipes, the bike is a little bit quiet, and obviously I've seen on YouTube and various videos guys that have swapped their pipes out, and this thing sounds amazing with a pair of aftermarket pipes. So they're on the way, and I will install them and post a video and show you how they are. The other thing that I have done actually is I've put a DNA air filter in this, which you know, is really good, makes the bike really peppy. So yeah, we'll just do the pipes and then that will be done. And then I think pretty much that is mostly it. I don't plan on doing too much to the bike. Oh, actually one thing as well, I might do something with the seat. I really like the seat, very comfortable, but I wouldn't mind like some kind of sort of stitching in the seat just to make it look a bit bespoke. So we shall do that at some point, and I'm just looking for options and solutions for that. But yeah, basically that's it all done, and I think it looks very nice. Tell me what you think in the comments. Alrighty guys, that'll do it. See you later.